I can.
That's a full-time job.
My
Thank
goodness.
you.
You're welcome.
Mm.
All right. So welcome to Friday Night Live with John.
And Patty.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to, before we get into our topic of stress.
Start looking over it.
All right. So I'm going to go over our announcements. All right. Our next Zoom call is going to be Friday, August 15th. And the topic is to be determined. Once the boss man tells me what he wants to talk about, we'll make it happen. All right, just want to remind everybody that we always have gift certificates available. If you need someone to buy you a gift, tell them to call us. If you need a gift for someone, you can
Wait a minute,
get
Rachel.
that. We can do e-gifts too, e-gift certificates as well. All right, custom meal plans. If you are stuck on what to eat or feel that you're just bored with eating the same things over and over, we can customize a meal plan for you and your family, up to 4 people. Refer your friends to us. You guys are here because you've done well for yourself. We've helped you. You've done the hard part, regaining your health and maintaining it. So let your friends know, friends, family, community friends, church friends, tell them to give us a call and we will help them with their health needs as well. And if you have a topic that you want us to make out of our Zoom call, we will be happy to do that. So let us know. Send us an email, put it in the chat. If there's something that you're looking to learn more about on holistic health, we can do that. Okay, so also, if you would like to share your experience, give us 5 stars on Google. You can use this QR code and make us look good out there on Google, because that's where everybody goes for finding out about businesses. So we'd love to have you give us a nice 5-star review. All right.
So I'm going to take it over here. We're not going to start this right at this moment because we have somebody here tonight that I asked today to say a few words, because when you have really good news, and we've had some really, really good news lately on different people, but this one is just outright special. And her name is Teresa. And I'm going to preface a little bit here before I ask her to talk. I've never met Teresa face to face. She lives in Florida. She was a referral from a family here in Springfield that had done our program and referred her. And I worked with her husband and children. And she called me up one day and had some bad news pertaining to health. And I've been working with her now for several months on protocol. And we got to talk today, and we had some fabulous news. And before I have her talk, I just want to say that what she's going to tell you is her own words, but we here at Alternative Health, we do not, and I reiterate, we do not cure cancer, okay? We help people build the immune system so the body can heal itself. And it is extremely hard work to do it. And I'm hoping she'll share a few minutes and kind of talk about what she did and the end result. But we can never say by law that we cure cancer. Otherwise, we can get shut down. We can be put in jail, to be honest with you. Okay. But we know And I know, and I know now Teresa knows for sure, that through the right path, through the right prayers, through God's help, anything can happen. So without further ado, Teresa, would you take a few minutes and just explain what happened, what happened when you started? A brief synopsis of what you had to do and the end result. Can you do that for me?
Well, you said a few words, so I'm going to try. I'm going to try. And we've actually, John, known one another for way over a year.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, you did all the preliminary. Yeah. And but back in 2023, 2023, I was feeling uh I was feeling bad. Brain fog and all that had settled in and all that, just wasn't feeling well. Went to my doctor and I said I just want it all, do the test because I'm just not up to par. And I said I want the whole thing, the whole physical thing. And the first thing that she ordered for me was a mammogram. And so I went and I had the mammogram done. Um, in ooh, I went there in July, and I just for a few months I got sidetracked there, and it was maybe a month later or so, and I went and I scheduled, the mammogram, and I noticed that they took a couple of extra shots, and I said, "Oh well," and I say, "Well, yeah, and it must be something going on with on the left side," and to myself, and then she submitted it to that day, and I said, "Well, how long before I would hear anything?" And she said it'd be a few days, maybe a week over the weekend or something on that order, because it was close to the weekend. And I got a phone call the next day, and I went and I had it done, and well, actually, it was a biopsy. I went to have a biopsy done, and 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 so I thought I was gonna wait. That's when they told me over the weekend and things. And the next day they called me and said, "Oh, Teresa, Miss McKinney is cancer." And they said it so
Oh,
nonchalantly. And I was like, whoa. And then she began to ask me, "Do you need to see a doctor and you want to set up such and such?" And I'm like in a daze. So what do you mean? Like I've done this before? And it's like, whoa. I said, you have to give me a minute and call my husband and all that. And he's the one that um, he began to do research and find a place to where, that he didn't want to do it locally. And we ended up, and I'm in the Panhandle, so went to Jacksonville. He set it up with a Baptist, MD Anderson Baptist mm, hospital, and they looked at it, they reviewed it themselves, and that January of 24 is when I had the surgery. And so they went in and they moved the cancer out. And I said that they had some type of DNA testing to where they can tell me how fast it was and all this. And then they looked at it and she gave me the worst case scenario, which was, it fell on me that it was, and I had a 40% chance if I did not take the radiation of it coming back, and a 20% chance if, you know, if I did take the radiation. And I said to myself, and I told others, I said, I cannot see God wanting me to put poison in me, because poison is how I got here in the first place. Not eating right and all that, and not, that I start and then I'd fall off the wagon and I start over again. But it came to this point, and I knew the Lord was talking to me through it. But uh, we had the surgery in January, and I was doing fine, and wasn't feeling anything in the breast, and then um I had talked to John and or Patty. and you would, well, John, you were telling me about you had a 21-day um uh program for cancer, and I said I want it, and I received that, and I worked the protocol best I could, and pray. And I appreciate the prayer that you sent along with it and all of that. And it was very, strenuous, much different from the 2 month detox that I did from before. And I say, whoa, I say, well, whatever it takes, and would God be my help? I believe I can do this. And so I did do the 21 day. And I wanted to do it before July the 22nd, which was a couple of days ago, because that's when I go back and they review. And up until then, I had started feeling the sensations that I felt before the when the cancer was there. And I said, whoa. And then it's just fighting and in my mind, and I kept fighting back with scripture and prayer and scripture and prayer and declaring, and so I went there Tuesday, saw my oncologist, and he wants me to take that blocker thing for the estrogen. And so I was up in the air about that, and that was neither here nor there. But the main thing was going and doing another mammogram. And they called me. I went over and I did the mammogram, and I thought that they would do the test, and then I go back home and they'll call me in a couple of days and they said, well, you just wait a minute. We can give you the results right now, or in a few minutes if you just wait. I said, whoa, I have to wait. And I tell you, the anticipation and all that was, it was crazy. And I just sat there praying prayerfully. And then she came back not even 5 minutes later. And she gave me a piece of paper and she said, well, you're good to go. It says that you're stable. You're good. I said, what do you mean? I had to take a moment to process it. And I said, so I'm good. She said, well, we'll see you next year for your regular exam. And I said, whoa. And I asked the young lady, I said, what is your name? She said, my name is Ashley. And I said, Ashley, will you do me a favor? And she said, yes. And then I said, can I get a hug? And right there, I hugged her, and I was just thanking and praising God, because I know that God developed this body to really to heal itself. And and what the things that got me to that point, I am eliminating. Even dealing with stress. Stress was a part of it. Eating was a part of the stress, I believe, brought about the eating. And so, and it was just like the devil doing an implosion, you know, and the way I look at it, and I preach, and I tell the congregation that, what it's like the enemy is trying to get us to do a kamikaze thing. So we go in and we commit suicide, you know, and but I just thank and praise God that uh that that in time. And I know that since he woke me up this morning and every day that he wakes me up, that there's purpose. And my thing is to help God's people to get healthy and help them in whichever way I can. And that's why, John, I've asked several times that you send me your business cards, because I see so many people that could really benefit from your service.
We sent them to, didn't we?
No, sir, I have not received them yet.
Really?
Oh, I thought for sure we did. Well,
thought we-
I'm making note right now and we'll get that
Okay.
And what
that
tomorrow?
done.
And I feel like Forrest Gump, and that's all I have to say.
That was excellent. I just wanted, because when we called Teresa today, Patty was talking to her and Patty said, you need to talk to her. She's so excited. And when the medical community tells you after going through all that, we'll see you next year, that means they didn't find anything. Everything has been, the body has taken care of itself. Now, here's the thing. and I told Teresa this already, but everybody needs to hear this.
Mhm.
When we feel better, when we get better, it is not over. It's never over. Okay. Wellness, like spiritual wellness, is never over. It's always a process in the works. Okay. So we have to maintain and remember what we learned and keep on doing it, and even better, to protect our body. So Teresa,
Yes.
congratulations. You did the hard work.
Mm.
She did 21 days of no solid food. That's the cancer protocol to rebuild the immune system. 21 days, no solid food. And then we go 21 days of eating raw food. It's called 80-20. And that makes it difficult too, because there's only certain foods you can eat. And then if things don't change, we go 7 days of no solid food, then 21 days of raw, until the body heals. But the key is you have to do it by the book. You have to do it right. Otherwise, it doesn't work. She even went out and bought a foot bath machine. I helped her get that. She was doing those, all kinds of things to help the body heal. So I'm so proud of you, Teresa.
Mhm.
I can't express how proud of you I am, and just keep up the good work, and praise God. So
Ah, thank you.
you're welcome.
And keep doing those
Yeah.
foot baths.
I will. I will.
Yes, and eating and all that stuff, and juicing.
And- Well, I'm working on now to perfect even adding, the exercise to it.
Good.
So, and that's where I faltered. I didn't do as much as I wanted to. I bought the rebounder and all that, and I got a tiny gym here at my home, and so I have no excuse.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I have no
right.
excuse because I want to lead God's people out, lead them over into good health.
And tell your family they need to detox,
Yes,
take care of themselves. And we have
yes.
another, I don't know if she'll talk, but I had another individual I talked to today that's on. Althea, would you like to say what your doctor told you today, or would you rather not?
Sure. Well, he had some, my A1C is down, which I'm excited about. It went from 6.9 to 6.4. But my blood work is very good. And he hasn't found anything obstructing, which is good for me. I've struggled with this for a while because I'm diabetic for many years. So joining the program, I was skeptic as well, but I had other friends that participated and they did well. And the topic of tonight is one of my biggest ailments, stress. So I'm looking forward to your info.
Good.
Good. I like how you said that stress is an ailment,
Yes,
because it really is.
sure is.
Good job, Althea.
Althea, and by the time we're done, Althea,
Thank you.
diabetes will be in the rear view mirror, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, I mean, just hard work and stay with it. And I'm just gonna share because a couple of times when Althea was in, the body fat didn't do exactly what she wanted, but I kept telling her, you just gotta keep doing what you know to do, and everything will come around. And sure enough, okay, so it's not all about weight, it's about wellness and following a protocol that heals our body, and so the body can heal. Okay, so thank you, Althea. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I wanted to share those today, even though they just kind of came up today, and I thought, you know what? We all need good news, and we all need things, because there's too much out there that's stressful for us. And when we hear good news, we can all, and I hope all of you gave both of those ladies a round of applause and sending prayers to them. And because what they've done is nothing short of miraculous, in my opinion. Okay, so we're going to talk about stress, but before I start, I just want to remind everybody, at the end of the program, we are going to have a drawing. We do give away 4 prizes. And they're all money, so you can use them for product and services, whatever you want. But the rule is you have to be with us when we do the drawing. So if you leave early and we draw your name, I have everybody's name in a see-through bowl here. And so if we draw your name and you don't, and you're not here, you lose. So just so you know, hopefully you'll stay on. All right, stress. Anybody out there that has any stress? Or is there anybody out there that doesn't have stress? I guess that might be a better answer. So most people will say that stress is life. And to a degree it is, it's true. I don't think that there's anybody that doesn't have some stress, because stress comes from a myriad of things, whether it be from work, family, finances, just things that we don't even know why we're stressed about. Anxiety brings on anxiety. How is my career going? Is it going to go okay? Am I going to be able to retire? I talk to people that are retired, they're stressed about being retired. And we kind of think that, as we get older, we get used to things and we understand it, but that's not really the case. And no matter what age we are, we're stressed. Okay. And when we're stressed, our body changes, and it doesn't change for the better. And that's what makes being well and staying well so important, because we really never know when the stress is going to come. I always tell people that as long as we're alive, we're going to have stress. And the only way we're not going to is that we're not alive. So we're talking about being alive. So we have to talk about taking care of the machine, which is the body, while we're alive, and being able to deal with stress and what's happening and how we can control things. So stress affects everybody a little bit different. Okay. First of all, what is stress? Okay. Stress is a hormone. Okay. Stress is adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was good. Everybody knows that.
But stress is a natural, normal, I should say, physical response to demands or challenges in our life. So it's every day, every single day. It's basically how your body and your mind react to situations perceived that are, say, threatening or demanding. Stress can actually be healthy at times. Now you might say, how in the heck can stress be healthy? Well, that's because if it's in short-term stress, it helps us to focus for the short term. So if you have a presentation that's due, or a term paper that's due, or something that you have to get done, stress will make you focus on that particular thing. But the problem is it has to be short term. Okay, it can't be long term. But chronic or excessive stress will surely impact our physical and mental well-being. All right. So we have these hormones, and we hear about cortisol all the time. And cortisol is a good and a bad hormone. If we carry high cortisol levels for a long time, and let me back up a little bit too, when I talk about stress can be real or perceived. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is sometimes we stress ourselves over things that aren't real. It's just not there. We worry about things that we don't need to worry about. And like many other things, once we start doing those things, it becomes our DNA. That's the way we are. I had a client tell me a couple weeks ago, and his wife was going through some issues, and I was talking to him about it, and I said, her cortisol levels are so high that she's really struggling. And he said, yes. He said, but the problem is, once this is solved, there's going to be something else, because that's the way it always is. And some people love, I know I don't like the word love. Some people have it in their mind that that's their life, to be stressed and that there's a problem. And, you know, Patty brought up something to me today that I hadn't thought of for a long time. And instead of thinking, you know, what if, we say, what was it?
Even if.
Even if. Okay. So, even if, what if I am diagnosed with cancer? What if? And, you know, we say, oh my gosh, what if that happened? Or we say, you know, even if I am diagnosed with cancer, it's going to help me because I can get on a program and make my whole body healthier while I'm getting rid of cancer. There's got to be a positive to everything rather than the negative to everything. So Patty had mentioned that to me this morning, and so the thing is, I just wanted to bring that up. So real versus perceived, okay? And sometimes people are stressed over things that they can, well, a lot of times we're stressed over things we can't control, and that creates the cortisol level. And the cortisol level creates many problems with our hormones. It creates problem with weight gain or weight loss, excessive weight loss, okay? The adrenaline is more fight or flight. Now, fight or flight means that we are in a mode of fight all the time. And I don't mean physically fight necessarily, but I'm talking about the kind of fight like I'm fighting life. Everything is coming at me. It's bombarded. No matter which way I turn, there's something there that's ready to try to knock me down. Okay. Now, adrenaline is good when there's an emergency. You're in a place and it's on fire. The adrenaline kicks in. You are able to move. You're able to get out. You're able to grab your stuff and help somebody else get out. You hear these stories of a car overturned and people see it and they rush over and they're able to lift a car off of somebody and they go, how did they do that? Well, that's adrenaline, but that's got to be short term. And when that happens, those people that go through that sudden, quick, after it's over, they completely collapse. Virtually, they're tired, they're exhausted. Sometimes they have to be held up because they used all the energy in their body at once. And then once it passes, the body goes, you know, we're depleted. Now, when we carry the fight or flight all the time, we're constantly exuding this adrenaline all the time, day after day after day, not in the portions that somebody that lifted the car off of somebody, but enough that the body becomes very, very fatigued, very run down, very you know, tired, and it affects the brain, everything. So people say, I have foggy brain, I have all kinds of things. So they're constantly under stress. And I always like to use this little drill for people. If all of you have a glass of water, or let's say something that weighs a pound, 2 pounds, and you put it in the palm of your hand and you put your hand straight out and you just hold that in the palm of your hand with your arm straight out, how long would it take for that, your arm, your shoulder, the muscle to get really tired? In fact, if you just put your arm straight out for a long time and just hold it with nothing in it, you'll find it get fatigued. So let's say that we carry this fight or flight and cortisol levels, high levels all the time. Our body becomes tired. Okay. Our body just gets fatigued and it can't deal with it because it's so worn out, to include the brain. If we keep our brain stressed all the time, we are tired. We're mentally tired. So that is what stress is. Now, how does stress, well, let me go back. What causes stress? External. It can be things like work deadlines, financial problems, relationship issues, major life changes. You're moving, your kids are going off to college, you know, you're going to be an empty nester, all the different things. Young couples, they're going to have a child. All of a sudden, there's 3 instead of 2, or whatever the case might be. Those are all stressors that create stress. Internal stressors, okay? These can be things like worries. How about negative thoughts? Anybody have negative thoughts when you just wonder, why am I having these? Or unrealistic expectations. All right. That's like me trying to say, I'm going to go play golf and I'm going to shoot at 80. Okay. It's not going to happen. Okay. So I get stressed. I laugh, but it's true. And even positive stressors can be things like getting married, a promotion. You say, wow, promotion should be happy. Well, yes, but what does promotion normally bring? More responsibility. And that brings on some anxiety. Can I do it? Am I going to be able to do it? Am I going to live up to the expectations? I just got a new job. Am I going to be able to do what they want me to do? Am I going to be able to learn what they want? Those are all the kind of stressors, even though that particular thing is positive, it's still a stressor and it keeps on piling on. So how does stress manifest? Okay. Well, physically, stress will lead to muscle tension, headaches, digestive problems, changes in appetite, and increased heart rate, which is better known as anxiety. Now, you can have anxiety and say, I'm not under stress. Well, you're under some stress or you wouldn't have anxiety, okay? Because a heart rate would not increase for no reason. It's just not going to happen. Emotionally, you're probably going to feel anxious, irritable. Oftentimes people become angry for virtually no reason, and a feeling of being overwhelmed, like everything is you know, I have nowhere to turn. And a lot of times then people that get this way, and I'm speaking to myself when I was unhealthy, you just felt that nobody understood. Nobody understood what I was going through. And when we get this, we feel that people should see it, should be able to see what I'm going through, but they can't, because it's not, it's in our mind, it's in our body, nobody else's. So then we start having a tendency to strike out and say, why can't people understand what I'm going through? Excuse me, I take a drink of water. Cognitively, it will affect our concentration, our memory, ability to make decisions, etc. Behaviorally, we can sleep will change. Okay. We don't get enough sleep. Or it's very restless sleep. I know me, when I start getting anxious or things go on in my life, my sleep pattern changes. I mean, it's ridiculous for me. And everybody's different how the body reacts. We have a tendency to withdraw from social activities. We kind of want to be by ourselves. We don't want to talk to people. We don't want people to know what's going on behind the veil, okay? Because we live our life as if everything is perfect, but it isn't. None of us are perfect. We all have issues. We all have problems. And then we turn and rely on unhealthy coping mechanisms, okay? And what can they be? Overeating or undereating. It can go either way, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into it. Now, there are different types of stress as well. First of all, the first one is acute stress. It's not very cute, but it's called acute stress, which is short-term stress. Normally, that's kind of situations where, you know, you're at work, maybe you're having a disagreement with the way that a project should be done, and you feel that, you know, maybe you're not being listened to, but it's going to end because a project is going to get done. All right. And normally it'll disappear once that situation is resolved. And it can be work, it can be home, it can be, children not doing the things they're supposed to be doing or gotten in a little bit of trouble or something like that, but it's nothing major. When I do the Zyto scans and people have a high balance rate over say 15, that normally tells me that there's something going on in their life that is acute, something that's just happening, but it's probably recently. Hopefully it won't go on for a long time, but their life is in a little bit of an upturn or downturn, whichever way you want to look at it, I suppose. And then you have chronic stress. Chronic stress is the worst because it's long-term stress. And it's that feeling that you cannot get out of it. It's never going to change. No matter what I do, it's going to be there. And I just don't know what to do. And of course, that can be things like relationships. It can be work, finances. It can be a myriad of things or a multitude of number of things. And a lot of times when stress comes, one thing piles on to another. It's that old saying, when it rains, it pours, that type of thing. And some of it is in our mind too, because we're expecting more things bad to happen when we have high levels of cortisol, etc. But that really, really has a negative impact on our overall health. Again, we start to do all the wrong things that we shouldn't do when we're stressed. Now, I'll cover that a little bit more. And then we have eustress, and that's a positive form of stress. And that's a good stress because it motivates and energizes you. That's saying, you know what? I'm going to hit the gym. Okay. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to get on a program. I'm going to lose X number of pounds. And no matter what happens, I'm going to do it. That's a positive stress. That's something that motivates us and makes us happy. And then, of course, we have distress. And that's a negative form of stress that falls into the chronic stress, kind of beyond the acute stress into the chronic stress. And that, again, turns out to be very harmful to our body because if you think about it, it's like disease. If you think of disease as dis-ease, the body is at dis-ease. And so when you have distress, you're in a deep stress. And a lot of times people become quite depressed when they get to that stage. So we know what stress is. We know the hormones. We have to manage it. Okay. And obviously managing stress is much easier said than done. I'd love to sit here and say, get over it. Somebody says, I just have this fear that, I don't know, the world's going to blow up and we're going to go to war and everything's going to, okay, it's easy to say, what are you going to do about it? Okay. But in some ways we have to almost say that. We have to start thinking that way. But how do we manage it in a human way that will work? As long as we understand that stress is a part of life and that we have to manage it, just like we manage our weight, we manage our work hours, our sleep, etc. We have to manage stress. Things like exercise, we have to start getting movement. When most people get stressed, they want to sit back and do nothing.
Curl up.
Yep, curl up in a ball. Okay, the fetal position. Just protect me. Don't let anything else hurt me. That's one of the worst things we do. We got to get out and exercise. Now, if a person is going through chronic stress and they're just wore out, they'll say, I don't have the energy to exercise. And I would tell you, you should not go out and try to run a marathon. You need light exercises. Oftentimes, again, when I do the Zyto, it talks about mini trampolines, which is you don't jump, you just let it move and bounce. It's like when a baby is fussing, holding it and bouncing it to calm. We want exercise that's going to calm you to start out. So if somebody's chronically stressed, we don't want to tell them, okay, go to the gym and spend an hour on the treadmill at, running. That's too much. You don't have the energy. First, we have to calm the body and then gradually get into the higher levels of exercise. We have to start eating healthy. And when we're overly stressed, that's almost like an oxymoron. When we're stressed, what do we really want at that moment? We want something that'll make us feel good right now. And a lot of times that turns out to be what, Patty?
Bad food.
Bad food. Give me some ideas.
I was gonna say ice cream.
Ice cream,
Chocolate,
the sweets.
chips, salty. For some
Chips.
people, it's
Yep,
salty.
salty.
Popcorn.
I'm more of a salty person personally. I would rather grab a bag of chips when I feel like I just want something. But other people, will say, you know what, I don't feel like cooking, so they'll go through drive-through, or they'll get processed foods for home. When I walk through the grocery store, sometimes I see people with their stuff in carts, and I just wonder, I bet you they're under stress or they're just depressed because everything is there's nothing there that they have to make. It's all in boxes or in cans, okay? And that's the worst thing we do, because when we're stressed, our body is using a lot of energy. And when we use a lot of energy, what do we need? We need nutrients. We need good fuel, not garbage. So the garbage actually makes us worse. We have to do relaxation techniques, meditation, deep breathing, scripture reading. For me, scripture reading, that's how I start my day, every day, scripture reading, because that calms me and relaxes me and reminds me that everything's going to be okay. Okay. No matter what Patty throws at me, I'm going to survive.
That's right, because you read your scripture.
That's right. Okay. And social support. We have to reach out to the people that we trust. Now, when I say reach out, it's people you trust. It's not the people that is going to go and talk to the next door neighbor or the coworker and tell them everything that you talked about. Okay. You have to be careful there. But it's people that you can trust, and you don't have to unload everything, but you got to have somebody that you can talk to. And I know for me, I've talked to Patty about many things. She probably knows more about my life, but we don't sit and just go on and on and on. It's, once in a while we'll talk about certain things and then it's done, because I know I can trust her, and vice versa, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Okay. So, but you got to have that. You can't hold it inside. You cannot think you're going to do it all by yourself. You can't do it. And the people that try are the ones that end up exploding. All right. And a lot of times it's not your immediate family, because they know you too well. You got to have another outlet. Okay. So don't try to hold things inside. And then if you need to, seek professional help. Okay. It's okay to seek professional help. It's all right. So there's a stigma put on it. I spent, almost all of you know this, I spent 20 years in the military. Back in the day when I was in the military, if it was ever on your records that you went and saw a psychiatrist, you were done, period. That was it. And that's a terrible shame, because sometimes, just like we need medical help, sometimes we need psychological help. We need spiritual help. What if somebody went and talked to their pastor or something and were tagged as misfit? That'd be, hopefully we've gotten past that in our society, but probably not all the way. But we have to not worry about that and take care of ourselves, because if we take care of ourselves, we're better equipped to take care of everybody else. Stress affects you no matter what anybody wants to say. It'll affect your body, your thoughts, your feelings, and your behavior. And we have to understand that we have stress, and that it's tied in with so many things: obesity, diabetes, cancer. Okay. And when people say, oh, cancer is has nothing to do with stress, it's untrue because it's a breakdown of the immune system. And when you break down the immune system, everything starts to go. Things like many of the initial things we get under stress, like high blood pressure, heart disease, strokes, all those things are caused in large part by stress hormones. Okay. Now, so want to go ahead?
Mhm.
So how does stress affect the body? Kind of talked about, starts with the brain, cardiovascular system, joints will start to hurt because everything gets tight. The skin, some people lose hair. There's, I can't think of that, when people get overly stressed and they lose patches,
Alopecia.
alopecia, thank you. Alopecia, okay? And that's a very, very common thing for people, but everybody's body is different. Acne, a lot of kids that are under stress because from whether it's school or perceived, it doesn't matter. They'll break out with acne and we think it's all, they're eating all wrong. They might be, but a lot of that's caused by stress. It'll affect your cardiovascular. High blood pressure. So many people are on high blood pressure, which creates a high risk of stroke and a heart attack. Muscles and joints, inflammation, aches and pains. It decreases the immune function, lowers our immune system, which increases our risk of disease. The gut, which causes 95% of all disease, because the gut breaks down or tightens up and we can't absorb the nutrition. We end up with either diarrhea or constipation, sometimes back and forth. Our reproductive system is affected. So decreased hormone production, low libido, increase in PMS symptoms, etc. And you'll see the list of the chronic pain, depression, etc. I won't go over those. But these are all the effects of stress. And when any of these things that you see on this list, anywhere on this page happens, what happens then? We start thinking about that problem, right? Wow, I can't sleep. So I'm tired the next day. And then I start worrying, am I going to be able to sleep tonight? Because I didn't sleep last night and I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. And then that even makes sleep even harder. So it just kind of compounds itself. So we have to take a step back, go back to the basics and say, okay, what is best for me? Don't eat late. Okay. Don't drink stuff, alcohol. Don't try to go to things that we think calms us and relaxes us. No, go back to the basics. Drink your water, eat the good food, go for a walk, have a nice conversation with somebody, do some deep breathing, do some reading and meditation and scripture reading, whatever you want to do that calms and relaxes you. And then you try to go to sleep or whatever the situation is. Okay. Okay. So what triggers stress? We mentioned this a little bit earlier, and I won't go through all of it again, but the major life changes, what can they be? Getting married, having babies, starting a new job, moving, loss, a death in the family. One of our ladies that's normally on here called me today and her sister passed away yesterday. So obviously that's a trigger that she has to be careful of because now she has to go to where she live,
Trinidad.
Trinidad. She has to go to Trinidad for the funeral, make arrangements, and that's a tremendous amount of stress. Work or school, demanding workloads, academic pressures. You know, a lot of people are type A personality. They want to have all A's. If they're getting B's, they're dissatisfied. They stress. I have a gentleman from our East Hampton office that was that way. A young man, very smart. But if he didn't get A plus, he couldn't eliminate. He would be nauseous. He'd be throwing up. And I'd ask him, his dad was with him, and I said, what kind of grades are you getting? He said, I got B plus and A minuses and everything. And I'm like, back in my day, that would have been a celebration. But for him, it wasn't good enough. And wherever that came from, I don't know. But in some ways, it's good to try to excel, but we can't do it to the point of destruction. Financial problems, money worries, debt, unexpected expenses, relationships, health problems. And again, Teresa talked about the cancer, and she could have went into crawled in a hole and just said, you know what, I can't deal with this. I can't, it's too scary. But she stepped up and did what she had to do. Your everyday hassles, all the little things that come along. Okay. How many times you've seen people in a traffic jam, or Patty was talking today?
This morning, yeah.
Tell them.
There was construction on the way to the office, and it's been going on for a while, and now there's one lane road. So I was 2 cars back. The car behind me kept beeping their horn. Well, there was a police officer directing traffic and stopped our line of movement. And I could see the woman behind me raising her hands, and she was like just like having a bad day already. And it was, not even 9 o'clock. So yeah, little things like that can set someone off.
But that's a person that's stressed. Okay. That's somebody that's really stressed and can't in their mind justify there is a cop up there directing traffic and I cannot go. And, if you want to go around me somehow,
Yeah.
okay, take your chances. But the worst thing that Patty could have done, which I probably would have done years ago, would have put it in park and walked back and say, why are you honking your horn at me? Okay. And that's another bad thing, because I was stressed then and I didn't want to have somebody honking their horn at me. But if you're able to control yourself when you get in those situations, that just shows a sense of not only maturity, but a sense of ease in your body. Okay. And you can laugh about it. Traumatic events we talked about, natural disasters, politics, all those kind of things that people get all upset about. Okay. Social expectations or experiencing social isolations or discrimination can trigger it. Negative thoughts and perceptions. A perception is a truity to the person who has the perception. So that triggers, and a lot of that comes from lack of communication and not being willing to talk to things out. Personality and temperament, lack of sleep. Oh my gosh. If you've ever went through long periods of sleep deprivation, it is the worst. And then, of course, unhealthy habits are the main ways that trigger stress. If anybody has questions, they can raise their hand or shout out. So we talk a lot about the gut-brain connection, okay? And, the gut-brain connection is a truity. I'm telling you, it is real. A lot of people don't say, oh, I don't believe that. I'm going to tell you, if you have a problem, an emotional problem, things aren't going right, I guarantee you that you are going to have problems with your intestinal tract. Okay. And that's where the term came from. Listen to your gut. It's not about the gut as much as it is the brain, but they're connected. So when we get stressed, when we're frustrated, etc., our gut changes. And that's why it's so important when we're stressed to avoid processed foods, stay away from garbage foods. Okay. We want to, as much as we can, reduce our stress, and we want to eliminate or lower the amounts of antibiotics and medications we take. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that, if you're on doctor prescribed medicine, you just don't take it because you're stressed. But normally what happens is when people become stressed, their joints start to hurt. Different things happen. Their stomach's not feeling right. So they turn to the OTCs, or across the counter stuff. The Tylenol, the Excedrins, those things are awful for your body, your liver, your stomach, etc. They're easy to get. The relief comes quickly, but it is false healing. They're masking the symptoms. Okay. So you have to understand the things that when we go bad, when we have our bad time, which we're all going to have, there's certain things you got to stay away from. And by staying away from, you're going to increase your immunity, your cognitive function, your mood, your memory. You're going to eliminate cravings by eating the right foods. Once you start eating bad, I'm going to tell you, your body goes into a mode of, I want more of it and more of it, because that for the moment it makes us feel good. It's that instant gratification. And that's what all of us in our minds and body wants, is instant gratification at the moment.
Mhm.
Okay, so when we talk about stress, normally we talk about stress and overeating. Now, that is true. That is true. A lot of the great majority, I would say, have a greater tendency to overeat. But there are a lot of people that undereat. We do have a client that was just in the other day, and he's been going through a lot of stress, family and different things, and he's down to 10% body fat. And he told me, food is disgusting to me when I'm stressed, and I just can't eat. And undereating is as bad as overeating. Now, people that want to lose weight says, I wish I could have that undereating problem, okay? But it's not healthy. And that is another reason when people go on programs, we tell them, you can't undereat. You have to eat enough, all right? So when people overeat, what's happening is they get this positive neurotransmitters in the brain, and that says, good. This is good, okay? This is helping me. I feel better, but it's only for the moment. And it's also teaching your brain to crave the foods. Every time you start having a problem, you're going to turn to the same thing and start eating the wrong thing. Obviously, you're going to gain weight, which can lead to many things other than what's listed there, stress and anxiety. We're talking about blood pressure, cholesterol. We're talking about diabetes, on and on. So the undereating, the stress response, causes the digestive system to become suppressed, and the elimination will become accelerated, which means probably every time the person eats, they're going to have diarrhea right after they eat. Okay, which obviously can create dehydration, ulcers, stomach issues, etc., and many other things that go along with that. So when we become under stress, we have to try to set, and it's best to have a pattern of how we eat, what we have in our kitchen, what we have available, and get our mindset so that when we get into that situation, stress, we don't turn to the McDonald's lifestyle or whatever, drive-through lifestyle. We know we have to continue to eat the way that we're supposed to eat, so that we don't wait until you're sick to start eating well. We want people to eat well while they're well, because you're going to go through stress and your mind's going to have a tendency to want to go the wrong direction. But if you have a pattern, you have a system, then you have to stay with the system. If you have a bad system, when you become stressed, you're going to be doing the bad system, and even worse.
Oops. All right.
I think we,
I skipped a page.
Yes.
I skipped a couple pages. There we go.
okay. Again, sleep. People say that stress causes them to lie awake at night. Yeah, okay. That's because the hypothalamus gland, the pituitary gland, the pineal gland are all stressed. That's all the brain. Okay. And then a lot of people will have, at the same time, will wake up during the night with indigestion, feeling nauseous. They'll feel like they have acid reflux, etc. Again, what do? Most of the time we turn to across-the-counter things to make us sleep, drugs. But I talked to a lady today who under a lot of stress, and she said she's taking a medication for sleeping. And she said, oh, I sleep all night now. I said, okay, how do you feel when you wake up? Like I had 12 shots of whiskey. Well, that's not sleeping. So you're tired, but you're knocked out. Okay. So a person that goes in the hospital and has surgery, for example, and they put them out, you're really not sleeping. Yes, you're not awake either, but you're not resting. And that's the whole thing. People that drink to the point of passing out, they're not resting. They're out, but they're going to wake up tired and exhausted because the body is still functioning. And of course, when you don't get the proper sleep, that affects the brain, memory, muscle issues, moods go bad. I always tell parents, think about when your child went and spent the night with a friend and they stayed up all night and partied and joked around and, had a fun time at their friend's house. They come home the next day, they're miserable, okay, because they're so tired. So that's what lack of sleep does. And then it creates stress on its own. Skin, people break out. A lot of people, when they get stressed, they will get acne, skin will turn red, etc. Most people, before a presentation, before something big happens, they'll notice their skin will turn kind of a rash. A lot of brides, before they get married, they're always worried about, because they'll get, my daughter first got married, her neck was all red, the anxiety on the wedding day. And then that's the cortisol levels, okay? It makes the skin sensitive and reactive. Now that is an acute part of stress, but for people that are in chronic stress, they can have skin issues for long periods of time, which then creates a lot of bacteria. Why? Because we're scratching, we're itching, and we're opening up the pores. So it can create things like rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, all the kind of skin issues that nobody ever wants. And a lot of that is caused by the internal organs, which is the gut, because the gut is all messed up because of the stress. Okay, so what can we do about it? Okay. We need to do things like get active. Okay. And I don't want people saying, okay, I got some information here, I'm just going to go join the gym and start working out for an hour and a half. No, gentle walking, mini trampoline, stretching. Okay. Stretch every morning. The first thing you do, get out and stretch a little bit, even if you don't have time to exercise. Exercise gives you those good, feel good endorphins. Okay. Make sure it gives you that happy hormone. It also refocuses your mind on your body itself and on your mood, and helps the issues of the day to fade away. A lot of times it's good to do it in the morning because that gets the blood flow and the circulation going. But if you can't do it in the morning, anytime is good. Eat a healthy diet. I'm going to tell you that is the most important thing, eating, what you put in your body. Avoid unhealthy habits like drinking too much caffeine or alcohol. Get rid of the smoking. Cut down on portions. Obviously illegal substances, etc. Okay. Those are the unhealthy habits that we have a tendency to turn to when we're down and out. Meditate or pray. And this should be something we do every day, in my opinion. Meditate, pray, read, just stuff like that to get your mind off of the everyday problems, whether it's work, whether it's home, what it might be. Just get your mind clear for just, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and work from there. Okay. And a lot of times people say, I don't have time. Oh, you have time. If you have time to worry, you have time to meditate. Okay. Believe me, we have the time. It just depends on what direction we want to go. You want to meditate. If you're out for a walk, you can go for a walk and meditate at the same time. Okay. When you're riding to work, not if you're driving, perhaps you want to pay attention, but if you're riding in a bus or something like that, we can find laughter. Okay. Laughter is huge. Heather was in yesterday with her beautiful daughter yesterday, and I tell you, we laughed so hard a couple times in there that it just made my day. All right. And Aubrey has a great sense of humor, and she comes up with some one-liners there that was fabulous. Okay. Especially at her mom, but that was another subject. But a good sense of humor. They say that 30 seconds of laughter is as good as, and I'm talking about deep belly laugh, is as good as an hour worth of exercise as far as mood changing. Just good laughter. Find something to laugh at, even if it's at yourself, and it's okay to laugh at yourself. Okay. Have fun. Connect with others. Okay. Sing, dance, be foolish, enjoy life. We don't have to be the perfect one. We don't have to be, oh, this is my stature and I have to be this. No, we don't. We are human beings. None of us are perfect. None of us ever will be perfect. And that's a fact. So we might as well just understand that and understand that we're all going to be silly. We're all going to be goofy at times, and it's okay. All right. So enjoy it. Enjoy what you have, and don't be too serious. You want to assert yourself. Okay. Volunteer for things. Look for people that you can help or things you can do. I get so much joy in doing what I do when I talk to people like Teresa and Althea and many other people, that just knowing that I had a tiny bit of help, a hand in their success, because that just makes me feel good. After we talked to Teresa, I told Patty, I said, that just made my day. I know she was having a good day, but that just made my day. Okay. Just knowing that we had something to do with somebody that, that we could help and lend a hand. So, and learn to say no. A lot of stress comes because we think we have to say yes all the time. Yes to being somewhere. Yes to doing something. Yes to money. No, sometimes you got to learn to say no. I don't have time. Sometimes you can tell people, look, I just want to take time and be by myself and put my feet up and read a book. And if people get upset over it, that's their problem, not yours. You can't worry about what everybody thinks. If you want everybody to love you, you're going to be depressed because they're not going to, no matter how hard you try. And sometimes the harder you try and the more you do for people, what happens?
The more they want.
The more they want, and the harder it hurts when they turn away from you. So just understand that people are people. Okay. You can't make everybody happy. So the, get enough sleep. Everybody needs sleep. Men, 7 hours, women, 8 to 10. Okay. Get enough sleep, restful sleep. Keep a journal. If you're confused about how your life is going, keep a journal. You're not going to remember everything unless you write it down. People tell me I don't have time. You have time. Okay. If you have time to worry about what's not happening, you got time to write it down so you can fix it. Get musical and be creative. Listen to music. I'm telling you, turn on your radio when you're driving, turn it loud and sing with it. Okay. And if you don't believe me, it works, ask Patty. Like, I've passed her on the road at times and she's got her mouth open singing away. And I said, I know, I passed you. She goes, oh, I was just out, right?
Enjoying my music.
Enjoying the music. Okay. And it's okay.
Singing like I have a good voice.
I've never really heard her sing, but so I want to test anything. Find something you like to do. Gardening, but don't worry because the plants aren't growing fast enough and all that stuff. Sewing, reading, sketching, anything that makes you focus on something that you're doing rather than what you think you should be doing. Find something peaceful in life and enjoy life. Life is too short to worry about everything that happens and that might happen. So our services are detoxifying and relaxing. So people that are here, come in, do an ear candling, get your ears cleaned out, okay? The wax comes out. We talk, we laugh, we burn the wax out. Do a foot bath, okay? Do our Saluma. And before we're done, I'm going to break some news that we got coming about lights. Our biocharger, okay, is a wonderful thing. It's the light of the earth. It's the lights that God created that we don't get anymore. Okay, the biocharger, the Saluma lights are virtually, I just let people do them. Okay, body wraps. So you can lie down and relax. Take it easy. And how many people have, Patty, have said, "Oh, I don't have time to body. I don't like to lie there and just for an hour." That's because you're overly stressed. I'm sorry. Okay, you're overly stressed. If you don't want to sit in a foot bath or do a wrap and relax, you're stressed, and you better change, or your body's going to change in ways you don't want it to change.
And a lot of clients, they say when they come in here to do a body wrap, that it's like the only time that they are by themselves and can relax. And we've got a couple clients that are on our Zoom call right now that if we can, we let them stay because that's the best sleep they get.
That's right.
They're here for a couple hours in a body wrap. If we don't need the room,
That's right.
you know who you are.
Okay. What I call non-negotiables, we need a detox 4 times a year. Now I'll revert back to Teresa. Even though things look good, you got to detox regular. If you get off track, you detox more often. Get enough sleep. Take all your supplements every day. And when I hear people say, "Oh, I forget." Well, do you forget to eat? No. Well, then how do you forget the other stuff? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Eat nutritious foods. We call it 80-20 or more, meaning 80% healthy, 20% unless you're on a program, but it should be more like 90-10 really in honesty. Move your body, decompress your body by breathing, drink good water, get outside, don't hibernate inside. Whether it's summer, winter, fall, spring, it doesn't matter. Get outside and get some sunshine. That's God's light on our face. Okay. Zytos. We can schedule Zytos whether you're local, whether you're out of town. We can schedule them. We can help people, tell them what they need, what they should be doing, etc. Illness is a choice. Wellness is a choice. Stress is a choice. We can choose it. We can choose it to let it destroy us, or we can choose to use it to help us. We can choose to get our body healthy or stay unhealthy. That's our choice. And I've learned over the 26 years I've been doing this, when people tell me, "John, I have no choice but to eat this way," you're just fooling yourself. And that's a cop-out, because we can all change. In all aspects of our life, we can change. So we're going to go back. I'm going to ask if there's questions. I do have something I'm going to share that we're getting into that some people probably be quite interested in. You can go back to. Okay. So do I have any questions? Thoughts? If you raise your hand or just speak up. Okay, Carol Holt. You've got to unmute.
Oh, unmute.
Okay.
There you go.
When the other slide said pure water, what is that?
Clean filtered water.
Okay.
Try not to drink bottled water as little as possible. Don't drink city water. You want water that's pure, as pure as you can.
Okay. So we have well water.
Okay. It may be good. I mean, but people should test it. Make sure that you're drinking quality water. Every city will tell you all the water's fine, is within standards. The problem with standards is there's a lot of stuff in it. Okay. So you want to be careful just as best you can.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
What about the Kangen? Have you ever heard of it? The Kangen, it's a water
Oh.
system.
The water, yeah.
Yeah, Kangen, yeah, yes. It's, I, it's kind of expensive for in a lot of places. That's
Right.
what I've seen. It is good water, but I do think there's filters that are much less expensive that you can get for your home that are a lot less expensive and just as good. That's my opinion.
Now, do you have one that you could recommend?
Well, there are people in here, and I know there are there that will test water and put in inexpensive, virtually inexpensive units in your drinking water that filters it out for a lot less than what. But I don't know the people down there, but you can call around.
And call your local plumbing,
Plumbing.
HVAC people.
Okay.
And I'm not a proponent that you have to. I have all your water, your bathing water, shower water, everything. But your drinking water and cooking water, it needs to be clean.
Hmm.
So is it better to do distilled as opposed to spring water, or does it really matter?
That's a great question. Distilled water is great when you're on 100% nutrition. If you're not on 100% nutrition, then you do not want to drink distilled water because distilled water has no nutrition. Okay, everything's been removed from it. It's bland. It's
Gotcha.
clean, but water has natural nutrients that we need. So when I have somebody on a program, they're getting 100% nutrition, so they can be on distilled if they want to.
Gotcha.
When we detox them during liquid days, we like them to be on distilled because there's nothing else in the water that the body has to break down. So you get a better cleanse. But when people are not on 100% nutrition or on a program, then you need regular water so that you can get those nutrients as well. Because everything we put in our body, water, food, nutrients, has to have nutrition. That's why we put it in the food. And the reason for putting something in our food is to keep our body functioning. Okay. And that's the important part of eating and drinking.
Okay. I do have another question.
Sure.
When it comes to because the area where I live is hard to get to organic. So I know before juicing, it's good to clean your veggies before. So what is the best thing to use when cleaning the veggies?
There's several things you can use. You can put your fruits and veggies in a water and take a cap full of hydrogen peroxide and put that in the water and wash them. You
Mhm.
can use vinegar,
Apple cider.
apple cider vinegar,
Okay.
to wash them with, put a little bit of that in water. But the key is once you wash them, you want to rinse them real well as well.
Right. Okay.
And I'm glad you asked that question. We don't know anymore what is organic and what isn't totally. They can put a
Gotcha.
label on organic. We just don't know because of our environment, because of everything, the way things are, we don't know what is organic and what is not organic. So I'm not a proponent of saying you must buy everything organic. You want to buy as healthy as you can. You don't want to buy farm raised fish. You don't want to buy caged chickens or eggs, stuff like that. But a lot of times you have what you have. So you just have to eat as clean as you can. And that's why
Okay.
detoxing becomes as important as it is.
Now, is baking soda would that cleanse as well, or is that no good when
Can,
I think that might.
probably not as good as the other two things, but it can.
okay. All right.
Anna, you have a question?
Yeah, if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, is that something that can be reversed through?
Yes. It is. Okay. And most of the time, I won't say all the time, but most of the time, sleep apnea can be caused by carrying too much visceral fat. Okay. So visceral fat pushes everything up and that blocks. That's why more men have sleep apnea than women, to be honest with you, because men carry it in the upper stomach. So you're going to find that more often. And now there are instances where it has to do with the throat and the tongue, etc. I will admit that. And I'm not an advocate of people going and having surgeries. I've known people have done it and it didn't work, but that's neither here nor there for the tongue and stuff. But most of the time it is a health issue much more than it is a breathing issue. But sleep apnea can be dangerous because you're not breathing properly while you're sleeping. So you have to take care of your body in order to get the body right so that you don't need it.
Because I've just been diagnosed with it, so
Okay. And they probably wanted you on a mask, right?
I have to go get fitted, yeah.
Now, when you have the mask, forcing oxygen into your body can sometimes be problematic as well. So there's pros and cons to everything. It's still the body trying to work on its own. That's the best way. Be as healthy, lose as much weight as you can if you have excess weight. And that's the best way to work on sleep apnea and almost every ill health issue there is.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. If you think of something, just tell me. I have decided to invest in what is known as lights, LED lights. And science has taught us that certain lights can actually break down fat cells. Okay. And we have been doing a lot of research and things that I want to include to try to help more people. So within the next, I would say 3 weeks or so, that's my guess. It could be a little sooner, depends on. I have lights where people can target parts of their body, and they're red and blue lights, and they work together to actually open up the fat cells. Now, there's no pain, there's no harm to the body.
Right.
It's all about lights. And what happens is the fat cells actually can be opened up through the lights, and they are drained into the body so that when you drink a lot of water, it flushes it out through the system. After people are on these lights for 20 to 25 minutes, we put them on our Chi machine, which is the machine that
The vibration plate.
vibration plate, for 10 minutes to get the body. Now, when I say all this, people right away say, oh my gosh, I can lose weight without dieting. Untrue. Okay. You still have to eat right. You still have to put the right things in your body. The studies show if people go out and, go eat bad food, do the fat cells revive themselves? Yes. But this helps us speed up the breakdown of the fat cells. Okay. But it does not take the place of eating properly, hydrating, all the things that we have to do day in and day out. But we target, can you show that?
I was gonna see if I could get it's a video, so.
Yeah. Patty's trying to find something, just kind of give an example. But it will be a service that we can offer for people that want to, and it could work on any part of the body. Thighs, stomach, arms. People always say, I got this stuff hanging on the back of my arm, and we can put it on the arms and on other parts of the body. It's 6 different
Pads,
pads
they call 'em.
that you wrap around the body, and you lay on the lights, and the lights are on top as well, so it can work top and bottom at the same time, etc.
So it's red lights and it's infrared lights.
So it helps to
It's-
contour and break down fat cells.
Is it FDA approved? Okay, so that's a picture of someone with the different pads on them, on their thighs and their midsection and their arms. So it goes around the body, so there's one underneath you too, so it can get the backside as well.
So And it has to be on bare skin, so you can wear, for women, they can wear the spa panties and they can wear the bra. And then be in it, and we can put it on the different, you can pick the spots of your body you want worked on especially. You know, for me, it'd be my whole body, but nonetheless. But so we're doing that to try to help people get healthier, speed up the process for those who are willing to eat right, take care of themselves. But we always want to be right up front. We don't want people thinking this is the way to be healthy and they can still abuse themselves when it comes to eating, because that doesn't work. Okay, nothing is that way. Am I out of the picture?
Yeah, you look really overcome.
All right, I always wanted to sit closer to you, but you know.
Like in the corner,
Yeah.
practically.
That's normally where she puts me.
All right.
Yeah. So I wanted to announce that. So we're working hard on that. It's kind of an expensive investment for us, but I think it's worth it. I think as things are studied, you have to evolve with things. And that's kind of the direction that everything is going, because there's a lot of science that goes in it. It is FDA approved. You can't do it if it's not FDA approved. Now, the other thing is too, just like foot baths, some people go buy foot baths and say, oh, I spent $200 on a foot bath machine. You did not really get a foot bath machine. Okay. So there's knockoffs. You can go to Walmart and get lights that say, oh, they don't work for $150, $200. Don't invest money in stuff that doesn't work. Okay. So talk to us first before you do anything, but somebody just sent a message. I don't know, said cost.
What's the cost?
What is approximate? Well, I don't know that at this moment. What the approximate cost, it'll probably be done. People can do individual. We'll probably, the way I like to do things, let people have a trial. We'll measure you and then see what you lose, and then people can buy packages of them. It's not something you would do every day, but they do recommend if you're really trying to lose weight, a couple times a week. But any amount that you do is better than nothing, obviously. Okay. But the cost and all that will come out once I get the system up and running and get it in-house, obviously. I haven't decided what it's going to cost for packages, but obviously there's a cost, but so. Any other questions?
Well, I don't think that'll do me any good if I'm in Florida.
Well, you're just gonna have to come and visit your friends up here and see us.
I certainly will.
Okay, I know you got lots of friends up here,
Yes, you do.
Yes,
yeah, and family, and so you
yes.
gotta come up once in a while.
And then one of your friends is on here right now. Terrell. Are you friends with Terrell?
You know Terrell Wilson?
Terrell Wilson?
Oh, she's on.
No, her name's up
Her
there. We
name's
don't
up
see her
there.
face,
Woo!
but.
There you go. So,
That's my
Terrell, are you
buddy.
there?
Terrell, say hi. She must have stepped away.
Okay, I
Oh,
don't know, her name is there, she was on for a while at least, but her name is still there.
She's muted.
Okay, if I don't have any, was there anything else you want to cover?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do our drawings and everybody's name is in here. Okay, I do 4 drawings every class. The first drawing is for $100. The second one is for 50, and then the third and fourth are for 25 each. The rules are you have to use them before the end of business, the 14th of August this year, this month.
Next class, yep.
For next class. If you don't use it, you lose it. Okay, so it's up to you. If we draw your name and we call your name and you don't say you're here, we draw somebody else for that prize. Okay, so you have to be on board.
So wake up, everybody.
Okay, Patty's gonna draw for $100.
That one.
That's one.
Okay.
Okay, and the winner is Everybody see that name?
No,
You see it?
Camera
Lift it up.
There you go, over here, camera.
Carol.
Carol Holt.
Yay, Carol.
Carol Holt, are you still on?
Yep, she's there.
Wave. Okay, Carol's there. I see her.
She's got a huge smile on her face, huge.
Okay, Carol lives in Maryland, right? Maryland.
Yeah.
Yes. So you don't have to be local. $50. You ever heard the song Gloria? Gloria,
Gloria.
Gloria. Where's Gloria still with us?
She is, Gloria.
Hi, Gloria. You won
Hey.
$50. First 25.
Let's see, so Carol's in Maryland, Gloria's in
Connecticut.
Florida, maybe,
Are you
or
in,
Connecticut.
are you in Connecticut or Florida? Gloria.
You're muted, Gloria.
I'm in
Uh,
Connecticut, guys.
Oh, you're in
too,
Connecticut, okay.
Yes.
Want first 25? Aaron,
Yay, a local girl.
right up the
He's
street.
waving.
25 for Aaron. And the other 25? Before I say this name, oh, did you put,
No?
hey,
Oh, because you may have thought.
oh,
may
yes,
have-
that's
'cause-
right. Yes.
There's another one said Aaron.
I put Aaron in
This
twice.
one says Aaron S. Because we found out who you were, so there was no other Aaron. All right.
Mm.
Two other mistakes made. Oh, wait, there's two.
Put both in the draw again.
Yeah, that wasn't fair. I would have felt bad.
You wanna know who
This
the
one,
other
I didn't know. I still would have felt bad.
Georgiana. Still with us, Georgiana?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here.
Alright.
Thank
Hey, there
you.
she is.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Let's see.
I always like feedback on the classes, so if you have a moment, to email us, text me, whatever ideas, whatever you think, I like feedback, positive or negative. I do want to thank all of you for being here and, attending. I hope you learned something or open up some thought pathways and ways to help yourself. We're always here to help. We're always here to, answer any questions or try to guide as best we can. I want to thank especially Teresa for sharing her journey, and I want her to continue the journey.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And Althea, thank you for talking a little bit. And anytime somebody wants to have something to say when they're in class, please jump in. Heather, I saw that Aubrey was with you, and what a wonderful young lady she is. And so it's best to start children when they're young, because that's when they get the idea of which direction to go in, whether it be health, whether it be spirituality, whether it be anything. Youth is the way to start. Want everybody to have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. God bless you. Just know one thing. We love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Thanks, John.
And I
Thanks,
want
Matt.
to say
You're welcome.
thank you guys
See
for all that you
everyone.
do.
Thank you.
See you next
John,
month,
Patty,
for sure.
your team is great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.